What if you could add some warmth to the lives of those in difficult medical circumstances, giving them physical and even emotional comfort? Welcome back to Community Bridge this weekend on Family Radio. I'm Jenny Burkheiser, and our guest is Christine Fabiani, founder of Knots of Love, based out of Costa Mesa, California. Welcome to Community Bridge, Christine.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm so happy to be here.
Tell us, what is Knots of Love and why you created it?
Well, Knots of Love was born in 2007, just simply from a desire to help people in a loving and caring way. I've always believed if you have an idea, if you have a passion, you need to find it, live it, make it yours. And crocheting and knitting was mine. So I saw a need for making beanies for people with cancer. I looked for a charity to donate my own beanies to and couldn't find one. So here we are. Knots of Love was born. Our charity is simple. We hand knit and we hand crochet beanies for cancer patients or anyone who has lost their hair for any medical reason. We have hundreds of volunteers who are truly the lifeblood of our charity all over the country who make the caps for Knots of Love, send them to us in the Costa Mesa office, and then we in turn ship them across the country on their behalf.
How many hats and blankets have been made or donated since your nonprofit was formed?
Well, we have given away, they're all given away free of charge, 369,349 beanies since we started the charity in 2007. And like I said, every single one has been given away free of charge. We have never, ever sold a hat.
Christine, you're based in California, as we mentioned earlier, but where do all these handmade items go? You said they help those with traumatic hair loss.
That's correct. We have 597 cancer treatment centers, oncologist offices, veterans hospitals, neonatal units across the nation. So we're definitely a nationwide foundation, nonprofit 501(c) charity.
So we have listeners throughout the country. When I got onto the website, I just saw there's all these little hearts in the different parts of the country. Are those people that have donated or contributed?
No, those are cancer treatment centers. That's where a cancer center is. Every single place you saw a Purple Heart, that's a veterans hospital, and then the pacifiers are neonatal units. People make the hats from the comfort of their own home, and then they send them to us, and then we ship them out for them.
Let's talk about the patients who receive these items. What are perhaps some of these who are receiving the hats, the beanies, facing?
Wow. Well, the people who wear our hats feel very alone and isolated when they have cancer. Knots of Love truly becomes an unknown friend to all of those people. We take the time to hand make something for someone whom we will never know. And that just means the world to people, especially our veterans. If you hand them something for free, they are so very grateful. And they're undergoing chemotherapy and they're lost and they're forlorn, and to just give them something free of charge just means so much to them. And also the beanies give people who are going to lose their hair, who haven't lost their hair yet, something to look forward to once they lose their hair. They look at the beanies and they go, wow, that's really cute. I'm kind of looking forward to wearing that.
Yes.
I often hear comments like it was easier to lose both my breasts than it was to lose my hair, but having your beanies to wear makes me feel so much better. Hair loss due to medical reasons can be hard to adjust to, but the hats do more than just hide hair loss. They restore self-esteem. They obviously give people comfort. And the benefits just go on and on.
You mentioned about neonatal care units. Tell us a little more about how your organization seeks to provide comfort and warmth to even the most fragile of lives.
Well, about 4 years ago, a hospital in Pennsylvania, Hershey, Pennsylvania, contacted me and said, hey, we have a need for 18 inches by 24 inches little blankets. And they're not really going to provide any warmth for the baby because the babies are in incubators and they often don't even weigh a pound. They're going to provide comfort for the parents. The parents, I'm going to cry. The parents sleep with these little tiny blankets and get their scent on them. And then they lay them over the baby that's already swaddled in the hospital layette or blanket. The parents also swaddle their babies while they're holding them in the neonatal unit. and they just bring color to kind of the whole cold, sterile area of a NICU.
Christine, you talked about your volunteers. Where are all the volunteers from?
They're from across the country. So basically, people make the beanies from the comfort of their own home, and then they go to the USPS store and plop them in the mail and then send them to us. But they're all over the country. They're nationwide.
So are the beanies easy to knit or crochet?
They are easy. They're much easier than you think they would be. We even have Girl Scouts that make scarves for us. We have high schoolers that make the beanies and make scarves, and even the neonatal blankets, and get community service hours. You can go on YouTube and learn how to make them there. We do have a required yarn list that we ask people to use. That's important because cancer patients' heads are often blistered and very, very sensitive. So we have yarns that have been tested by cancer patients, and we ask people to use only those yarns.
Okay. And
but they are easy, very easy to make, much easier than you think.
The basic hat, it can be very simple, like you said, but they're just gorgeous if they go to knotsoflove.org and they look professional. Do you have a particular pattern that you give to your volunteers that they need to stick with?
Well, don't be fooled. They don't have to look professional. It doesn't make any difference if they have a little mistake here and there. Again, just the fact that we're making something for someone and they're receiving it is what's special. So
sure.
When we send caps to cancer centers, we put 30 caps in each bag. So we put stylish caps, we put our fancy caps, we put not so fancy caps, we put all different colors. So your cap does not have to be fancy. My first cap was so big it could have fit a bowling ball. It was absolutely horrific. And then my next one was a little better, and my next one was a little better. So they don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to be super, super ornate or have a very intricate pattern. They can be plain and simple, and that's wonderful.
You're not super picky about it as long as it's made with love. But
that's
on your
right.
website, do you have some patterns for our listeners maybe to try out?
People can use any pattern they like for the beanies. For the neonatal blanket, that's a little trickier. The hospitals don't want any blankets with little holes that tiny fingers and toes can get caught in, and also tubes. So we ask that the blanket pattern not be see-through or holey or too lacy. And also 18 inches by 24 inches is a great size for those, and also very lightweight, because if you think about it, these little blankets are going to be covering often, a little fragile child that weighs less than a pound.
Wow.
So something very lightweight and not holey. And also super soft and cozy, because the parents cuddle their little newborns in these little blankets. So we want them to feel snugly.
Now, I think one of your recipients mentioned a sleep hat that she loved. Tell us what's a sleep hat.
Well, a sleep hat is made with extra soft yarn with no embellishments and fits a little bit tighter to the head because when people have no hair, their heads get extremely cold at night. So if you can imagine wearing a beanie to bed and moving around, we don't want it to slip. So we have some patterns and some suggested yarns on our website for those sleep hats. We also send hats to individuals. So I get a number of emails every day that says my mom or my sister or family member has cancer. Can you please send them a hat? So we send each person 3 hats. We send them 2 hats that they can wear during the day, and then also the sleep hat at night. And I think the sleep hats are truly our most popular hat because they can also wear them around the house during the day, and they still look cute, so they can wear them out as well.
Well, Christine, I'm sure we've got some family radio friends who want to put their hand to sharing through Knots of Love. How can someone donate hats or the little blankets, or maybe even join like a knitting or crocheting group?
Well, I would check in your area for a yarn store, and that's how they can also learn how to make beanies or blankets and purchase some of the yarns. Our yarn list is pretty extensive, so you can go to a Michael's or a Joann's or your yarn store. People can go to the website. There's a submission form on the website, knotsoflove.org, and I pride ourselves in calling every person from that submission form that they send in with their hats and telling them where their beanies go. For example, I would say, Jenny, thank you so much for your wonderful creation. We love the colors. The patterns are fabulous. And today we're sending your beanies to a cancer treatment center in New Jersey or in
That's
California.
great.
And a lot of people keep a map. And they call me and say, okay, I need New Jersey or I need California or Arizona. So a lot of people have caps in all 50 states. Very, very fun.
That's
so it makes
incredible.
it a little more personal that way.
Well, yeah, it definitely gives you a connection to the person. Do you take yarn donations or is it strictly the hats?
Yes, we do take yarn donations, but we never use wool. No wool yarn. I know I get a lot of emails saying, oh, I've got this big stash of yarn for my grandmother. It's just been sitting in the closet. It doesn't have any labels on it. We don't want you to use that yarn. We would never, ever want any allergic reaction to wool. And we would never want anyone to not choose a hat just because it's not quite soft enough for a cancer patient's sensitive bald head.
Okay, so no wool. And Christine, you don't charge for the hats and blankets, but I noticed from your website, knotsoflove.org, that they have these really cute labels on the items. How's Knots of Love funded?
Well, we're funded 100% by donations. We have private donations, grants. Fundraising is just a never-ending task. It costs about $10,000 to $11,000 a month to run the charity. Shipping costs are exorbitant, even though we work with UPS and they give us some great rates. As with any charity, it's difficult to raise money. So we definitely are in need of more donations. There's a few ways people can donate if they like. They can go to the website and click on the donate button. They can text to donate. Simply text NOTS to 444999, or they can send a check to the address on the website.
Okay, perfect. And again, your website, knotsoflove.org, and the monetary donations are tax deductible, right, Christine?
100% tax deductible. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit charity, and 98% of everything that comes into the charity goes right back to the charity. Only 2% goes to administrative costs.
That's incredible. Christine, there's a lot of different recipients who enjoy receiving these Knots of Love.
Yes, there are. We not only send them to adults that are undergoing chemotherapy, we also send them to pediatric oncology centers across the nation. Kids wear the same size hats as we do, and they love to get the beanies. They absolutely love it. And we have people that make the character caps that the children love. Those are so much fun. We always ooh and ah over those when we're processing all of the beanies. And then we also have caps that we send to our veterans. Our heroes are so forgotten, and we don't want them to be forgotten. And we just finished a veterans cap drive. We hold that once a year, but we send caps to veterans every single Friday. And to send the hats to the veterans, it just means so much to them to receive a free beanie.
Absolutely. Remind us again, how can we learn more about Knots of Love or support you?
knotsoflove.org. Go to the website. If you want to make a beanie, everything is there that you need. Our required yarn list is there. Our submission form is there. If you'd like to make a donation, all of that information is there. We have a wonderful program where if you make a $30 donation, we'll send 2 boxes in your name. Goes up from there. Those boxes are dedicated to cancer patients from you. Lots of ways.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for sharing with us again on Family Radio.
Well, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share about our wonderful charity. We so appreciate you.
Oh, you are welcome. Again, I'm Jenny Burkheiser, and our guest today on Community Bridge has been Christine Fabiani, founder of Knots of Love. You can learn more about Knots of Love by accessing knotsoflove.org. If you are interested in giving a yarn donation in particular, be sure to email Christine, info@knotsoflove.org. Please remember that the views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Family Radio staff or management. If you have any questions about the programming you just heard, feel free to email information@familyradio.org. To learn more about Family Radio's commitment to serving the public, go to familyradio.org and access the Public Information tab, or call our toll-free public information line. That's 1-800-543-1495.